Salem, and welcome everyone. We have an incredibly esteemed panel here with us today, and looking forward to getting deep into our topic in the time that we've been given. But I'm going to start just to make sure everyone's concentrating out there in the audience, and also to just make sure my panel are warmed up. A bit of a tricky question, probably. Mustafa, I'm going to start with you. Are we in an AI bubble, yes or no?
I would say there are signs of bubbles, i.e. revenue are slower than valuation. There are more concentration. But I would say there's huge opportunity here. So long term, I would say no.
Okay. And Christos, same question to you. Are we in an AI bubble?
I would say no, because the productivity that we will all experience from in the AI era is going to be such that there is a lot of development and there is a lot of value to be created. So my 2 cents is we have a lot of gains to see out of this great era.
Okay. And Jamal?
Look, I think the bubble is definitely in the valuations, not the value. It's like electricity in the 1920s. Everyone was out selling generators, and a lot of those companies, went bankrupt. But at the end of the day, all businesses run on electricity. At Al Hilal, we're all about using that electricity to power better banking, and it's not as exciting to talk about, but more valuable to execute.
Thank you. So, Mustafa, I'm going to come to you first. You're the executive vice president and the chief operating officer of State Street Bank. And State Street Bank is one of the largest asset managers and asset servicers globally. You hold a staggering 51.7 trillion in assets, and 11% of the world's financial assets flow through its doors every day. I've got to say, apart from the jet lag, how do you sleep with that much responsibility on your shoulders?
I think a part of the jet lag, I sleep very well.
But seriously, I think the trust factor in your industry is huge. It's a huge element. Artificial intelligence has obviously been used by banks for a decade now. But where are you now on your artificial intelligence journey?
Yeah, I think you mentioned the scale of our business. It's important. So our business is about delivering efficiency for our clients. We deliver service, operational service. We move capital across 100, I would say, countries in the world. It's an important imperative for us to continue delivering speed, quality, efficiency at low risk. So AI has been, I would say, in our journey for a while now, for multi-year. Historically, with traditional AI, mainly, I would say, around automation, machine learning, robotics, predictive AI. Where we are today is we are entering the generative AI and agentic AI, changing completely the way we think about it. And the way we are approaching the topic as a next-gen transformation. We do believe that there is no AI without transforming the way we operate, and there is no, I would say, transformation now without AI. So we call that next-gen transformation. And the way we think about it is in 3 main buckets. One, AI for growth. So how AI will change the way we deliver service to our client experience, how we build product with AI. You mentioned 51 trillion of assets. That comes with a lot of data, how we can use this information to deliver value for our clients. Then you have AI for efficiency. And that's a big change is how agents and human will operate together, what we call agentic factories, ability to deliver at scale efficiency for our clients. And then AI for employees. And there is a high expectation from employees now to be equipped with the right tools to be more productive and to augment their capability to deliver value. So if you look at it holistically, this is how we approach it. Just 2 words on what enabled that is 2 important topics, which sometimes are underestimated. One is the infrastructure and how you modernize your technology, your data centers, your cloud base. So that's core technology transformation is important. And the other one is data and how data flow supporting that AI. So that's how we look at it more holistically with 3 key pillars, leveraging agentic AI to speed our transformation.
Thank you, Mustafa. Christos, I'm going to turn to you now. But first of all, I want to talk about Greece. You've just had the most staggering period of recovery in Greece. I was in your country in 2010, and you have had some very, very tough years of austerity. And to Greece's absolute credit, you are back with renewed confidence. You have a fantastic prime minister, I must say, and you are now outperforming the Eurozone average. And I think that is something we should all recognize, and probably a few more European countries should be looking to Greece for advice right now and how to cut back on expenditure. But this leads me to talk about artificial intelligence with you as the CEO of Piraeus Bank, because as Mustafa was just saying, there's huge efficiencies and development that can happen with artificial intelligence. And on that note, you have decided to invest 200 million in artificial intelligence over the next 3 years. And this commitment aims to establish Piraeus as the leading Greek bank in AI adoption. Why have you made this huge commitment as a CEO? And where do you want the bank to be in 3 years' time?
Thank you. Thank you, Emily, and thank you for the good words in Greece. One thing that is worthwhile noting is that Greece now is funding its 10-year bonds cheaper than Italy and cheaper than France. And of course, the banking sector has been in the forefront of this growth, and I'm very proud to say that Piraeus Bank has been one of the banks that have contributed significantly in the financing of the Greek economy and the results that we see now. Now, for us, the investment in AI is a natural evolution of all the work that we have done over the last few years, actually in the crisis and after the crisis, to modernize the bank, to strengthen the governance, to strengthen the culture and change the culture of the bank, to go into the digital journey. 99% of our transactions as we speak are digital. And of course, the next natural evolution is the investment in AI. We have been working on this for quite some time. We will be focusing on the areas where we can really have benefits, be that the technology side, the operations, the front line, digitizing and using AI in actually throughout the chain of customer interaction to back office is what we are trying to do. We are very proud of what we have achieved so far with an AI-enabled app which solves a lot of the queries of customers, saving time for our employees to actually do client business and focusing on the future. What we want to be, we want to be one of the leaders in Europe in the forefront of using AI for benefit to the bottom line, to our shareholders, and actually for our customers. So in a few years from now, I hope we will be in a position to actually validate this statement.
Thank you. And Jamal, now to you. Al Hilal Bank, values-driven, Sharia bank, very well-known legacy brand. And you made an incredible transition to a full digital bank in 2019. And you're a legacy bank that made, that is a huge transformation. What did you learn and what lies ahead in the next 2 years? Because the pace of change with AI adoption is getting ever faster.
Really, really good question. I guess if I break it down, there's like 3 key lessons learned. One, I think the transformation never stops. So everything you're doing is effectively a milestone in a plan that never ends, right? And you have to constantly keep up with change. That's the first one. So don't think of it as it's one and done, and then you can sit back. But that is never going to happen. Second, I think really investing in sort of data quality is far more important than the technology choices you make. With legacy systems, what we learned is you're going to have data that is missing, duplicated, inconsistent, and trying to bring in AI on top of that, it's like putting AI onto some sort of quicksand. You're never going to realize the value that you need to. So really spending the time up front to take care of that. And then the last learning was culture definitely moves way slower than code. So getting technology in place is actually the easy part. Of course, moving people to not just have a shift in mindset, but do things a different way, approach operations, interactions with the mindset of a digital bank. People have to unlearn what they've done before, and often things that are, I would say, truths to a lot of individuals, things that they've relied on with very certain outcomes. You're now asking them to do things very differently with almost, in their view, very uncertain outcomes. I think looking forward, what I see is obviously moving from digital banking to AI native banking, bringing in that hyper personalization that everyone talks about, intelligent operations, as Christos just mentioned. But more importantly, what I'm excited about is the shift to, I would say, conversational banking, where you're now moving from app screens and interfaces to more natural language interfaces, and you're dealing with a very personalized agent, or in traditional banking speak, as a relationship manager that actually understands your behavior, understands your life moments, your needs, your wants, and that can serve you best anytime you need it. So I think that's where we're going. I think the challenge is going to be not the tech again. The tech is pretty straightforward. It's going to be the governance around it. How do you make sure that you're still respecting Sharia values, customer values, but also making sure you're in compliance with the regulator.
Thank you, Jamal. Mustafa, back to you. Jamal touched on it. It's the human journey that's so important going alongside the technology. And there's quite a lot of discussion at the moment at the speed of AI adoption that the technology may move faster than the humans. How are you embarking on this with your employees, but also your clients, but particularly with your employees, bringing them on the journey and developing new skills? Because the technology is evolving so fast, skill development and confidence actually with those new skills is so important.
I think it's something we tend to underestimate a lot. And Jamal mentioned learning. I will start from there. Learning means everyone needs to learn. And our approach to it, we start with our exco, and we get an immersion for the whole executive committee on AI to understand what that means, to understand what agentic means, to understand how agile works. It looks basics, but it's important at the top. That commitment of time of learning start at the top of the firm. Then we are going through cohort of training of our leadership team and created a base for learning for our people. We have deployed now Copilot to 26,000 people. We have a mandatory training through AI agentic. So that's kind of having the same knowledge, same language opportunity is important. That's number one. Number two, I think it's, as you think about the learning, you have as well the planning. So our job as leaders, as we know the change will happen with technology, what are the jobs will change and how are we working with our employees to help them doing that transition to the new jobs? If not, they will be disintermediated in that change. So that planning is important, especially in a fast, I would say, changing environment. Then the engagement. And people always support something they contribute building. So how get all teams developing, being a part of that journey of transformation? And what we learned, historically, we did a lot of use cases like everyone else. And we've been out there like everyone else, say, this is how many use cases we do. It's not delivering the value at scale we think. So we changed completely our approach. Now we look at what we call bottom-up experimentation, in which we have more people involved into innovation and experimentation, and top-down domain transformation. So we looked at big part of our businesses, and we say how we can transform the whole business with AI, training the leaders of those businesses. It's business-led transformation. with a kind of agile work with teams, a different part of the organization, delivering that. That's the only way you can deliver sustainable, I would say, scalable benefits, at the same time engaging employees because they've been trained and they are part of the adventure we are driving now.
Thank you. If we have time, I want to come back to you about a question about strategy, to all of you, actually. Because, again, when you are dealing with this pace of change, you need strategies set in place, but these strategies are going to have to be nimble, too.
Yes.
But we'll come back to it because I'm watching that clock. Jamal, I'm going to carry on with the skills conversation with you. You began your career training as an engineer. What skills have you seen that are needed most to thrive and survive in this new era of artificial intelligence?
Look, I'm going to bring up obviously my own sort of personal experience here, and then of course what I've seen at and experienced at Al Hilal that's worked. I think the one skill that my engineering background taught me was more the systems thinking, right? And today everything we're building are complex systems, and more importantly, more specifically, not just how systems connect, where their dependencies lie, and then how a change in one system can ripple through and impact something in other areas. I think that is sort of the one thing that I can really take away, at least for me personally. From the team at Al Hilal, it's for sure, I think, intellectual curiosity over technical expertise. I think we're very easy to just want to answer every technical question and solve every technical problem, but I think it's more around, can we ask the right questions or the better questions? Look at, for example, AI and say, okay, let me understand how this works, and then where can I apply it, right? Versus let me just apply it, right? The second is, I think, the judgment when you have through uncertainty. I think, of course, AI can help do a lot of the heavy lifting. I think there's a certain type of decision making that, of course, when you look at whether it's Islamic values or even in the interest of in the best interest of the customer, there's some elements that you need a human sort of judgment call to come in. It's about understanding where you insert those points at the right places. You want to have that balance, and then, I would say one key piece is what's called translation capability. That skill to be able to 1 minute be dealing with technical problems and then migrating over to strategy, and then from another minute dealing with customer experience and then trying to balance regulatory obligations. Or on one hand, every organization's ambition for innovation, and on the other hand, looking at, well, what is operationally realistic, right? I think being able to bridge and individuals that can do that, I think, fundamentally, I think are going to be quite successful. And I think the one piece that nobody ever really thinks about, and I'll talk about it, is it's actually humility. When you deal with these large systems, you need to prepare for instances where they fail, right? And I think the best outcomes come when you can prepare for those failure scenarios. AI systems are no different. There will be occasions where they fail. How do you best deal with them? Being open and honest about saying what you know, and of course, more importantly, what you don't know and what you don't understand. I think that will go a long way. I think it's good to be confident, but some overconfidence can, of course, can create some problems. I think those are the ones that really stand out for me.
Thank you. Some great points then. And Christos, we're going to move slightly here to digital assets. So can you talk us through the future of digital assets? Because that's something you've been working on a lot with Piraeus. And how do you see the bank responding to this? You're a trusted institution. What do you think customers are going to want from digital assets? Flexibility, safety.
Emily, thank you for the question. I cannot resist but just mentioning in such a great audience one great initiative that we have been doing in Piraeus in Greece, launching a neobank, which is 100% digital. We call it Snappy, and actually we are disrupting ourselves with this launch. So I'll put that aside, and I will talk about the digital assets now. We are preparing and we will be offering digital assets to our clients in the first quarter of next year. And I would say that for a regulated institution, like most of the banks are, digital assets will flourish when innovation meets regulation. So safety, clarity, seamless integration and execution is what our clients want. In the digital asset world, the regulated institutions are perfect media for actually disseminating this to their customers. And I think once innovation meets regulation, we will have quite a lot of things to do in that front. And as far as Piraeus is concerned, we are focusing, so we will offering to our clients digital assets in the first quarter of next year.
Very exciting indeed. Now, we've got a couple of minutes. So we discussed a question quickly before we came out, just in case we did have a couple of minutes to go, and we really have to keep this tight. I asked you what you thought where we would be in 5 years if we came back here, and we all agreed we didn't really know where we'd be in 5 years. So quickly, each one of you come back to this amazing stage, this incredible conference. In 3 years' time, what are you going to be talking about? Mustafa, sorry.
Okay, I agree with 3 years instead of 5. Even 3 now is challenging as we speak. I would say, I think what will change maybe in 3 years, we'll be here again, is we'll have less question about how. I think everyone is trying, implementing, thinking about how our business will look like, how our technology will look like. Technology is becoming the business. And the companies who will thrive tomorrow are the companies who will become tech companies, making it a part of the way we do business. So that will be interesting in 3 years, speaking about the new generation technology, but the level of adoption likely will change dramatically and knowledge will change dramatically.
Brilliant, thank you. Jamal, you have got 20 seconds.
Look, I think what will be a constant theme, I think we'll be back here, and what we'll still be talking about is, with all of the tech and with all the advancement that would have occurred, where's that human element? How are we bringing that in? And more importantly, back to the earlier point my fellow panelists have brought up is, how are we investing in that capability? At Al Hilal, we're doing that continuously to make sure that we build capability. It's not just about cost reduction. We want to make sure that we're ready for anything that comes our way.
And Christos, again, 20 seconds.
I've loved it if we have a digitally enabled, AI-driven client experience that, most importantly, our customers, our clients who are giving value to the institution really recognized it as number one, at least in Greece, if not in Europe.
Thank you very much. Brilliant. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you so much to my esteemed panel. Thank you very much.